An average person, on an average day, drives less than 50 kilometres in their car. And while there are always people outside of the bell curve that is average, I mean, some people will drive 2, 3, or even 4 times that distance in a day, the majority of people and the majority of cars don't travel that far. The daily driving distance was used for a time to justify why many electric cars over the past decade launched with total ranges of under 160 kilometres per charge. But despite all of this, and the fact that those early cars did and still do meet the needs of 98% of the population, we've been stuck in an arms race over electric car range. The reason? Well, I think it's to offset people's fears about running out of charge and prove that even for road trips, electric cars are more than capable of making long-distance runs. Even though automakers could be focusing on something else, like, making electric cars more affordable for everyday people, range has, for the most part, been their primary driving force. Consequently, the majority of long-range models on sale today offer between 350 and 500 kilometres of range per charge. That's more than enough for most people to drive to and from work for an entire week, or maybe even more, without ever needing to plug in. But now automakers have a new thing they're focusing on: how far their cars can drive in a single 24-hour period. A few weeks ago, Porsche drove a pre-production Taycan around a track to see how far it could travel in 24 hours. It managed 3,425 kilometres in a single day, stopping only to charge using a high-powered 350 kilowatt charger that Porsche says can add 100 kilometres of range in just 4 minutes. Earlier this week, Audi released a press release saying that its 24-hour 10-country drive event it held last week in Europe covered 1,600 kilometres in a day. Audi, like Porsche, was demonstrating that its e-tron can travel far further than your average person would ever want to do in a day. And while Tesla hasn't done this directly, the Tesla coast-to-coast cannibal run is becoming a thing I really wish it wasn't. Like Porsche's Taycan, the Audi e-tron road trip was only possible with appropriate high-powered charging support, 150 kilowatts in the case of the e-tron. But if the average person doesn't travel more than 50 kilometres in a single day by car, what is really the point with all these long-range ultra-endurance tests? What do they tell us, and what can we learn from them? The reason behind these tests, I think, isn't so much to encourage people to drive long distances in their electric cars, but to reinforce to people who haven't yet purchased an electric car that these vehicles can travel far further in a 24-hour period than they probably would ever want to travel. And to do that, they highlight the speed at which these cars can fill up, the speed that the cars can charge. Combined, Porsche and Audi, and I suspect Volkswagen too when its ID.3 hits the market, it's essentially the same company, all want you to feel that their electric cars can go anywhere and do anything that their internal combustion engine siblings can do. For most customers, I suspect that's where it's going to stop, since the average newcomer to electric cars, refuelling, even that of the Taycan, will feel slower than it does with a gas pump. For existing electric car owners, it's more about digging in current vehicles, most of which can only charge at a maximum speed of 50 or 100 kilowatts. But most especially Nissan and its Leaf. Try to rapid charge too many times on a single road trip in a Nissan Leaf, and it will dramatically slow down charging to protect the battery pack, even after Nissan has pushed its Rapid Gate update. And I think that's something Audi and Porsche want to distance themselves from, hence the long-distance record drives. By demonstrating their cars can travel inordinate distances in 24 hours and still happily rapid charge at sensible speeds, they're trying to appeal to existing EV drivers for whom that experience hasn't been the norm yet. Of course, if you've driven a Tesla or you own one, you'll know that Tesla's supercharger network, especially its high-powered V3 supercharging, already offers that kind of facility. Tesla also goes one step further with onboard route planning that makes sure you get the power you need to refuel when you need it without getting range anxiety. And while these long-distance drive-charge trips are great for promoting a new car and showing it can handle extreme environments, I'm not sure they're going to convince a whole lot of people to buy them. That said, automakers sell plenty of SUVs and pickup trucks by demonstrating their towing and off-roading capabilities, even when most will never see a horse box or the Hell's Revenge trail, so maybe this will work. Honestly though, driving 1,600 kilometers in a single day is at best uncomfortable and at worst unsafe. A single person driving alone isn't really safe to drive beyond about 800 kilometers a day, and going beyond 1,000, even if you've got more than one person on board who can drive, well, it's not exactly pleasant. I can't help but feel what people are more interested in is how to fuel and how they can fuel their cars. They understand how to drive, they understand road trips, but they don't yet fully understand charging. Tesla has taken care of it for its owners, and to some extent Audi and Porsche are promising to with their own charging apps, roaming agreements, and in the case of Porsche, high-powered charging stations. Seamless integration of fueling and making it ubiquitous is, I think, far more important than highlighting a car can go a long way in a day. After all, earlier this year we drove 1,200 kilometers in a single day in our Chevrolet Bolt EV. It was hard, it was possible. We'd have much rather preferred to have found plenty of recharging stations and not had to worry about planning stops though, than the total distance we travelled. An automaker that can do all of this, well, they'll really capture people's minds. And this isn't a dig at Tesla, Porsche or Audi. I think they've all got great cars and I think they're going to have a sizable market share between them. But we need to focus on something other than a race to see who can go the furthest in the shortest period of time. And how about making cars more affordable for everyone, eh? That's it. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to help us make more videos like this, please do consider liking, commenting and subscribing. You can send us a couple of dollars our way every month through Patreon, or you can feed our coffee habit with Ko-fi. And of course, there's also our swag store. Don't forget to check it out. I'll be back soon with more content for you all to enjoy, but until then, have a great rest of the day, behave yourselves, and keep evolving.